Evening has brought a change of weather, but the relative calm gives some hope of a good evening's sport. With some small sedges in the air and a few flies on the water, prospects of catching fish look quite good. Sedges are not the only species of interest to the evening angler. A large variety of chironomids and even the occasional damsel nymph may be of interest to the fish. However, it's the evidence of a large pupal shuck or case which reminds us why Lough Corrib is a renowned evening sedge fishery. This is a shuck of a large murroch sedge. The reed-fringed bays provide the ideal habitat for a variety of sedge species. The sedges, or caddisflies, belong to a family of flies known as the Trichoptera. With over 200 different species, they're of immense importance to the angler. Different species behave in many different ways. Some hatch during the day, some at night or evening time, some in open water, others in vegetation, reed beds, and so on. Beginning life as a larva, most species build a case with debris, known as a caddis case. They live in this case for a year in the shallower water of the lake. The caterpillar-like larva then develops into a pupa within its case and assumes the characteristic features of the adult fly. Pupation may take days or weeks, but it's on the final journey to the surface to hatch that the pupa becomes a major food item for the trout. Many of our traditional trout flies imitate the sedge pupa at this stage. The pupa is a powerful swimmer, and on reaching the surface, it splits out of its pupal shuck. Some species take flight almost immediately. Others skate across the surface to the safety of reed beds or the shoreline. It is in this stage of the life cycle that the top-of-the-water angler is most interested, because these skating flies are readily intercepted by the trout. Other insects, such as this chironomid, also skate across the water as they lay their eggs. Of all the sedges, the best known to the Irish loch angler are the peaters, a medium to large size sedge with a greenish body and dark brown wings. Paul and Roy use similar tactics. A 10-foot rod, floating line, a team of 2 dry sedge patterns, fished sometimes static, sometimes skating. Sedges are not the only fly these fish are interested in. It's quite apparent that chironomids, otherwise known as buzzers, form part of the trout's diet. Perseverance with the sedge pattern pays off for Paul.
Excellent. Okay. We'll show that.
This trout has taken his claret murroch pattern fished in the failing light.
Rather go back now to the leaves behind us.
darkness closes in, the air is filled by buzzer and sedge activity. However, tonight the trout are keeping their heads down. Is it a little too cold? With the cooler weather, perhaps it's time to return to Lough Corrib and Mask.
Raymond, famous Raymond. I'm going to tie this on a size 8. A bed of black silk along the body. The next thing to tie in is some golden pheasant tippets. Which have been dyed hot orange, and we'll tie in a rib of oval gold tinsel. The body material is golden olive seal's fur. Try and achieve a very thin strand, and we tie that along the body. We've got to leave enough space at the head to tie in the wing and a few other things too. So the next thing to do is to palm of the body with a blood red cock hackle and a golden olive cock hackle. Our hackle pliers, we take them both down the body to the end together. Next thing to do is to tie in a false hackle of jay, a pad of the blue jay feathers. And at this stage we start to build the wing. And we have 3 colours of goose or swan herl, green, yellow and red. And if I just do the first one in green first, what we want to do is cut out slips of feather, one from either side of the stalk, and keep them on the same side. And then with the yellow again, yellow on that side, yellow on this side, red on that side, red on this side. Then we go about marrying the fibres together. And what we do is we just take the feathers in sequence and just bring them back together so they stick together like so. We do the right side, then the left side. Because this built wing is in 2 halves. But that's the effect we want. With our scissors we just try and even the size of each band. So that's one side done. We do the same with the other side. Green on top. There is a Donegal sea trout version of this where the green is replaced with blue. But we don't use that round here normally. Then we place one on top of the other, like so. So you've got one wing in two halves. Then we set that aside. The next thing we do, we make a wing to go over the top of it in grouse. What we use normally is one of these wing feathers. And just pull out 2 pads of the grouse feather. And try and tease it out so that it's got a square end. Like so. And then we do the same thing again. And we put one on top of the other, like so. And we take our built wing and put that in the middle, like so. Okay. And very carefully fold it all together, and there's our wing. And when these fibres break apart in the water, it reveals the different colours of the wing. Okay, you want to come back up to the hook now? Right, so the last thing to do now is to place the wing on top of the dressing and tie that in. And once it's in, just basically have a look at it. Make sure everything's sitting right, and it is. So I'll just cut off the excess. There it is. Often a very successful salmon, sea trout, brown trout fly, both on the river and on the lake, but particularly effective in smaller sizes for the daphnia feeding brown trout in September time.